And we're back. Is everyone here? Yeah?
Hello.
A few years ago, we bought a website called Modojo. And then we drove it off of a cliff. And it crash landed into Shacknews. And it merged into Shacknews. And we've been covering mobile games intently ever since. We've had the rise and fall of Pokemon Go, and then the rise again. We've seen a lot of really big mobile games appear since that acquisition, but also just over the last 10 years, over the last 13 years, 14 years since the iPhone launched. Mobile gaming is undeniably a huge segment of gaming now. It appeals to the largest demographic of gamers out there, mainly due to how accessible a lot of these games are. Mm-hmm. And there's a huge variety. I just want to shout out one game before we start. We missed so big on Retro Bowl. It's not even funny. Retro Bowl is one of the best mobile games out there. It's not eligible this year. I'm sorry, Retro Bowl. I love you guys. But yeah, there were some mobile games that did release this year that we want to talk about, we want to honor, and we want to give an award to. So I'll let someone else kick it off. But anyone got anything here?
I mean, unless I don't want to step on your toes here, Asif, because I think we've got the same vote here. Mm-hmm. But Pikmin Bloom is fantastic. I love it so much. It is adorable. I've been playing it like every day since I downloaded it. It makes me want to like get up and walk more. It's also great because they go out like and explore
the expeditions.
The city. Yeah, and they come back with like little postcards from like spots around like Oakland and Emeryville and like Alameda and wherever I go around the Bay Area.
I have one story about this game that cements why I love it so much. Yeah, I go to the dispensary every so often, especially when there's sales. I went last week, and I had went there, planted some flowers, right? Because if you harvest the nectar from whatever your Pikmin collect, you can feed it back to them. They grow little flower petals on their head. You tap them, and then you have flower petals that you can spread around the world. So I spread some flowers down there at the dispensary, and I went back home. I pull up my phone. I have an expedition to the dispensary available. So guess what it was, Blake?
What was it?
An enormous seed. And I was just like,
that's usually the last thing you want from your pot club.
No, but like nail on head much, right? So I sent my 6 Pikmin on that mission. You can literally sit there and watch them on your phone walk there and back, which is hilarious. There's like music playing and stuff. That aspect's delightful because it reminds you of where you were, right? So if you're like, oh yeah, I went to CVS yesterday. My Pikmin have a mission to see an expedition available to CVS. I like that aspect of it. The thing that I like more than anything about this game, every day at 9 p.m. Eastern, I don't know what time it is for you, Sam.
It's 9 p.m. It's local.
9 p.m. Local? Okay, so every time at 9 p.m. your time, the app asks you how your day was. And you can say bad, mediocre, or good. And I just think that's like, many games don't give a shit about you. At all.
That's wholesome.
It is wholesome, but it's also like, that's a very Miyamoto thing to do. Like
it's reflective.
There are some touches on this game that are definitely Miyamoto influenced. And I don't think Pokemon Go had these elements, that made it feel more personal. Like it actually was your experience, your Pikmin, and it's not a game that like, it doesn't look down on you if you didn't walk as much that any given day. I feel like a lot of exercise apps, like they're trying to motivate you, but they like, if you don't hit your goal, it doesn't really congratulate you. Pikmin's always like, good job, you did this. Like you could have walked 5 feet today. Pikmin's still going to be proud of you. And I think like
the goals that you reach aren't daily. It's not daily based. It's level based.
Yeah, it's career based. It's you've hit this, you've walked this much, you've planted this many flowers, you've gone on this many expeditions. Nothing the game doesn't force you to do anything. And from a monetization standpoint, I don't think I'm ever going to give this game $1 because you have 2 planters that you can use for free, and occasionally you'll find other planters through expeditions, or even just your Pikmin will find them for you. So it's not like Pokemon Go is it's monetized heavily. Pikmin Bloom is not. It is not it's not a game that you're going to hear about some kid racking up a $500 bill because they did a bunch of microtransactions.
That's what my nephew did. In 2 hours, he spent $200. Pokemon Go.
Was that Fortnite?
Pokemon Go. He did in Pokemon Go too. Got his grandmother's phone, and he ran out of Pokeballs, so he kept buying more Pokeballs. And it was just like, I don't know how you spend $200 on Pokeballs, but apparently it's really easy if you're just sitting in bed doing that for 2 hours.
It is. If the parent or the guardian does not put the proper locks on in-app purchases, a lot of these games are addictive and dangerous when it comes to that stuff, especially for children. And I think Pikmin Bloom does not incentivize microtransactions. And honestly, I might be one of the only people in Canton, Ohio playing this game right now. I don't think it's that popular, but I think for an exercise app, this to me actually makes me want to walk. Pokemon Go didn't make me want to walk. Pokemon Go made me want to go places. Like, okay, I'll go to that gym. Okay, I'll go to that Pokestop. And when, back before the Death Stranding, when we were traveling and going places, I loved playing Pokemon Go because it was just about landmarks, right? That's how I used that game. I didn't even care about catching things unless it was a Pikachu with a cute hat. This is like, I just want to grow my crew. Like, I just want to get more Pikmin on my team. And I think it's nothing about it makes me feel like, oh, I need to spend money to do this.
Yeah.
And I think that's hugely valuable when it comes to a mobile game. Like, and it's counterintuitive, and it shows why Nintendo may suck at making mobile games. Like, they're not trying to make a Candy Crush. When they do, they fail, like that Dr. Mario World game. But like, I feel like a lot of their mobile games are just introducing people to their IP. And this is a good example. And I think Pikmin is a weird one to pick. Like, it's not the most popular franchise.
Yeah, it's an interesting choice, and I'm not a huge Pikmin fan either, to be honest. Like, I've never really been into the franchise, but one of the things I love is naming my Pikmin. Each time I get a new one, like, I love giving them stupid little names, like Toilet Duck, or like Dirty Drake, or just something stupid. And it really endears them to me. They're like my little children. I love feeding them those little like droplets.
Yeah, it's like pollen, or what is it called?
Yeah, the nectar.
Yeah. And getting the petals from that, and like every time I go out now, if I'm going to Target to like get groceries or something like that, I'm like, all right, let's get the flower petals going, right?
Yep.
Like the other night, I had to like take a ride share to like pick something up at one store, and I walked across the street to another store while I was out and did the rest of my shopping, just pumping up those Pikmin the whole time,
Yeah, and it's like, you're just planting flowers. Like, it's some innocuous stuff that you're doing. Like, nothing about this game is like, there's not a whole lot of conflict, right? No. It's just like the Pikmin series has conflict. Like, you'll have to fight different enemies and stuff. This is really just about finding Pikmin and then helping them like get other stuff. It's nothing. Yeah.
One thing I really
crazy, and it's minimal enough where I use it every day, and it's an app where I spend less than 30 minutes on it a day, and I get everything I want out of it, and that to me is like hugely important. There's some mobile games out there that will suck your life in, like Shacknews, but like I think no, Pikmin Bloom is like the perfect pick up and play. And to Blake's point, I love when I go to a new place to plant flowers there. Yeah, I know that I'm leaving my mark there, and then when you come back there, you'll see your flowers again.
It's fun. It gives you motivation to like get up and like do something every day, in a fun little way. Also, I would just want to know. I don't know if you probably can't see my. No, it's gonna blur it out, but my character is wearing a lovely dress with a sun hat, and I like that. Like you can just wear whatever the hell you want.
I was able to just log in with my Nintendo account and port over my Mii. So my character is literally my Mii that's been around since 2006.
Yeah, same with mine. Yeah, but they let me put a fancy dress on, and I love it.
I do like the progression system in it. I like that. As you said, it's just a lifetime. It's not a daily sort of challenge. You just level up as you walk steps and you plant flowers. And there's a progression system whereby you will gain access to new Pikmin, but you also gain access to doing challenges, which is like, I don't know if you guys are there yet, but giant mushrooms will appear on the map, and you can send your Pikmin off to fight them.
Ooh, I haven't gotten that far.
And there's spots for other players, and so you'll send your Pikmin off, and it'll show you how many other players are currently there fighting it. Not a whole lot of people around me are playing it, so I'm often fighting it by myself. But it's still this nice little element whereby if you are in a densely populated place with a lot of users, you will see people doing these sort of challenges. It's just nice, and plus I can send postcards to you, Asif, and
Blake can send me. I've sent you guys postcards. Like,
we gotta be friends.
The first time I sent my Pikmin on an expedition, and they came back, and they're like, "Oh, we took a selfie in front of this church in Massillon, Ohio." I was like, "What?" I was like, "What is this game?" I think I screenshotted and sent it to you, David. I was like, "What they're doing?" Like, I didn't tell them to do that, but it's like unexpected, adorable, silly things in this game, and
it's an unintrusive mobile game. Like when I go for like a run around the neighborhood, I usually just listen to music and track my run in like an app. But now I'll also open up Pikmin and start planting flowers so that I can plant flowers around where I go. And then at the end of the day, as you were saying, at 9 p.m, it'll do like a little playback of where you walked. And it'll show me like, oh, you planted flowers in this little route here, and you did these amount of steps, and how was your day? And I was like, I had a good day. And it's that element that a lot of games are missing, that it's like, and a lot of people maybe don't reflect on their day. And I think that that's like a healthy thing, and that encouragement of like, how was my day? It was good. I think I had a good day. And if you had a bad day,
and it's also like, it's okay to have a bad day. I think
exactly. It's okay to have a bad day in that game. It's okay to not be feeling great in that game. It's okay to be feeling meh in that game. And it just that to me is a very Nintendo thing. Like and it's like those little details in that game where I'm like, wow, I really like this game. And it's I know there's like a Pokemon game that came out this year, and I'm sure someone's gonna nominate it here, but like none of you are playing Pokemon Unite on your phone right now. Not a single one of you are. You'll nominate it because it's Pokemon.
Didn't it get moved to next year? I thought it wasn't launching.
No, it's out.
That's on mobile. Yeah,
I thought
it was like a month after it came out on Switch.
Yeah,
it's out. It's out. But yeah, great nomination, Blake. I don't know if you can tell. I agree with that nomination.
Thank you.
But yeah, if there's any other nominations for Mobile Game of the Year, and by the way, it's the Modojo at Shacknews Mobile Game of the Year. Shack Pets is not eligible. It'd be like the Barack Obama meme of giving ourselves a medal. So we're not doing that. But thanks to anyone who would have nominated Shack Pets for their Mobile Game of the Year. I don't really consider it a game as much as I do an app, so that's food for thought too. But yeah, anyone else want to nominate a mobile game?
So that's my dude right there with
hell
his
yeah, DJ.
and Pokemon Unite. He's actually let's see if we can pull this up right away. He's actually Master Rank Season 2, which it got reset, and then I earned Master Rank again.
Is this cross progression from Switch?
No, I've been playing it. It does have cross progression if you link your account, but I've been playing it entirely on mobile.
Oh wow.
Here's the thing. I love MOBAs, but I don't like Riot Games. And so I stopped playing League of Legends because I was so fed up with the news about them that I stopped. Pokemon Unite, I wanted something to scratch that MOBA itch. And so I jumped into the game and gave it a go, and like I got hooked. I love a good competitive MOBA, and it is that. And like it uses the IP so well. Like there's a lot of good monsters from the whole franchise in there. And the way that they're positioned for their roles, like support, heavy hitter, bruiser, attacker, it's they did a good job of making this roster, and they continue to add more things to it. Every month or so, they're adding at least one new Pokemon to the roster. And I wouldn't say that it's the best balanced game that I've ever seen. I would say that there are some Pokemon that just completely dominate the pick list, but it does have the room to be experimental and figure out what style suits you. And like that's something that I've always enjoyed about MOBAs is that you can take a character and make them your own and be really good at them and figure out how to make them work in a match.
Yeah, I seconded that with TJ. It's I've played a lot of it on the Switch for the last few months because like I'm the second probably MOBA guy on the staff, and I really did enjoy it, especially that it does so many things differently than regular MOBAs. Like you can usually MOBAs, you know, it's a rolling snowball that just gets worse and worse and worse as you continue to play. But for this game, and this game does that too, but not nearly as bad. There's also like it's more tactical. Like your goal is to destroy points, which are kind of like towers, but they don't really attack you. So you can like go behind the fight and keep scoring points by killing minions or camps and not have to engage at all. Like you can actually do that. That's a viable strategy. It's very interesting.
Yeah. We should talk about the rules of the game. You actually it's like a sports game where like there are different wild Pokemon on the map that you have to defeat, and each one gets you points. And the way you lock in those points for your team is that you need to make it over to goals on your opponent's side and score those goals like a basketball goal in their goal to lock in and keep those points. If you die, you lose a part of your points, and if you defeat an enemy, you get like a portion of their points. So it really is about more than attacking your opponent. It's about operating around those wild camps, operating around those points, and making sure that you lock in and score as much as you can.
As someone who has zero someone who has zero interest in Pokemon, I found Unite quite enjoyable. Like, I didn't know any of the characters, but someone like I have a long history of playing League of Legends, and so shifting into Pokemon Unite, I'm like, okay, it's a little bit easier at first. Like that, I understand the concepts, and it's a great like entry into the MOBA thing. But then I was finding more depth with like how I wanted to create my build throughout the match, and it was nice to not have those overarching pressures that often come with MOBAs. Like, oh my gosh, I need to go back to the shop and figure out my build and figure out like what exactly I need to buy. But yeah, I dug it. I dug my time with it.
Right, what are you playing it on, Sam?
I had been playing it on Switch.
Mm-hmm. And Greg? TJ, I have a question for you. Since this is a mobile game category, how does this control? Are there virtual buttons, virtual analog? How do you control the character?
It does use virtual buttons.
Oh, fuck out of here then. No fucking way. You're not giving mobile game of the year to virtual buttons. That's the laziest design mechanic in mobile gaming, and it's trash. I'm talking to you, Rocket League Sideswipe.
Splash, we're all trash.
Shots fired.
I will say that this is a game that benefits from simplicity when it comes to control and that nature. Each Pokemon only has so they all have 4 attacks that they can technically access, but you have to make a choice between one of 2 attacks for each attack slot. Like, so you'll have 2 special attacks, and then you'll have a basic attack button. And then you have a little joystick circle on the other side that you can move your Pokemon around with.
Is the joystick circle static? Is it always in the same place, or is it based on where you place your thumb? It's always in the same place?
It's in the same place. You press your finger to the center of it, and you move in the direction that you want to go.
Is there any haptic feedback on the phone for when you press it, or no?
Not really.
Yeah.
That's
like a non-starter for me. Like, I have this game on Switch, and I would only play it on Switch, just because I can't. You give me a virtual analog on a mobile app, I just instantly am out. And I've been and this is as someone who's been trying to play Rocket League on mobile for the past week, I really dislike that. And I will say that Rocket League Sideswipe has probably a better implementation of the virtual or the on-screen analog, where it's wherever you touch the screen on the left side, it appears. I have a problem like, I have to look down and find where the button is, or where. It's one thing when you're holding a controller, you know where the analog is, you know where the buttons are. When it's a flat screen with no tactile feedback, I just think it's a worse experience. So I would, if I were to implore our voters here, please consider the input that you would be using on your mobile game. I will also say that for me, one-handed gameplay is hugely important when it comes to a mobile game.
Yeah, you can't do that with this one.
You cannot do that with Unite. You can with Pikmin. You can with Pikmin Bloom.
If I may interject as well, Asif, you brought up a point about monetization in mobile games.
Mm-hmm.
And my apologies, Pokemon Unite, at least when it started, had quite a contentious monetization system. And have they improved that, TJ?
That's one thing that I wanted to explore when I first started this game. I wanted to see if I could win at matches without spending a single dime. And to my credit, I haven't spent a single dollar on Pokemon Unite, and I've still made it to Master Rank in both seasons.
Yeah, it's a free-to-play game, but there are microtransactions in it, and they seem to be hiding some very good characters behind microtransactions. You can correct me if I'm wrong. But...
it's like League of Legends, where if you play enough, you'll eventually earn enough money. You'll eventually earn enough in-game currency to just buy those characters yourself. Like I said, I haven't spent $1, and I've gotten about 13 of the overall I think it's up to 30 in the roster. So I've gotten a lot of the characters that I want to get, and the only thing keeping me back now is when new characters come up. But to that point, I play enough that by the time a new character comes out, I have the in-game currency for them.
I was more so referring to the fact that there are 12 items that you can purchase before you head into a match, and these 12 items can be ranked up to level 30. You can do that by playing and unlocking the currency needed to level them up, or you can pay money to level them up. At least that's what it was at launch. And so the amount of time it would have taken to level each of those up to level 30 was a ridiculous investment. And so it kind of encouraged users to buy their way. And these items do things like increase your health, increase your attack power. And so that initial reaction was this has pay to win elements. You don't need it, as is evidenced by TJ getting to master it, but for those that don't have TJ's skill, it is an alluring option to go, I might be able to increase my chances of winning if I pay to level up these things.
Sam, the only way that you can buy item enhancers anymore is through the battle pass with real money. You can't buy item enhancers outside of the battle pass anymore with real money. It has to be done through in-game currency, which may have changed from when it started.
Okay.
Yeah, it seems like they have changed the grind economy in that game since launch, because it did have a backlash at launch. Mm-hmm. I'm troubled that someone who's playing this on Switch would nominate it for mobile. Greg, have you even played this game on mobile? Yeah, the fuck out of here.
As a huge Pokemon fan and somebody who doesn't like MOBAs at all, really, I do want to speak to one thing to Pokemon Unite. I really appreciate you brought up earlier, TJ, how expansive the roster is and how well Pokemon lends itself to that format. I really appreciate how they kind of got creative with the roster. When they said they were doing a Pokemon MOBA, I expected the roster to be all the fan favorites, your Greninjas, Lucarios, and while they're all there, you've got Charizard and stuff, you can play as Greedent in this game. And unless you play the Pokemon main series games, nobody knows who the hell Greedent is. They've got Eldegoss in here, Cramorant, they've got all these throwaway Pokemon from the main games. I think it's stoked that they get spotlight.
Are you playing it, Donovan?
I played a bit when it came out, but I haven't played all that much Unite in the last few weeks now.
They just announced Zarina for the Raws
Yeah,
today, which is like, who the hell
that's
is
another
that?
one. Yeah, it's like unless you played like Sun and Moon, Sword and Shield, like through like you don't know who these Pokemon are, and I think it's dope that they're doing that on such a small roster. Because there's a lot of different Pokemon out there.
Psyduck playable.
Psyduck not there yet.
No
Slowbro-
Psyduck,
not
sadly.
winning any.
Slowbro's
not my
there.
vote. That's not Psyduck. I don't.
It might be as close as you get.
Blake, have you named a Pikmin in Bloom Psyduck?
No, I haven't found one worthy yet.
But you could.
I can, and I will.
I've been told that there are pink Pikmin in this game, and I'm very interested in finding that.
I've only seen the red, yellow, blue.
Oh man, you've got a whole world ahead of you.
Donovan, have you played this game on mobile?
Okay, I'm not nominating Unite, but no, I haven't played it on mobile. I just wanted. I'm not nominating it though. I probably won't even vote for it.
I've heard people mention color in Pikmin Bloom, and what's like how does color play into it? Because like I just downloaded it while we were talking about it, but I'm curious. Like, is it gonna be tough for a colorblind person?
Oh no!
It actually tells you in text that they're yellow or blue, Bill.
So it's actually colorblind accessible for sure.
Yes, it is. Like you collect. It's like, hey, you found a blue Pikmin. It tells you via text. So even if you can't perceive the color, it tells you in text.
Yeah, like that's absolutely necessary for me, or I don't know what I'm looking at. So
yeah, red, yellow, and blue Pikmin do appear to look the same, but once you get to like white and pink and purple,
I don't care if they look the same because most things look the same for me. But if you tell me like what color I'm looking at, then I'm fine. So.
Yeah. And I don't know, so far I haven't noticed that there's a distinct difference between how they function, other than just their animations. Like the pink one flies.
In their descriptions, it says like they're good at different territories sometimes. Like I think it's like the yellow ones are good swimmers or something.
But yeah, like a lot of that, Bill, a lot of the color differentiation is explained to you via text. So I don't think you're gonna run into too much accessibility.
Yeah, that was all I was worried about. Is like as long as there's not like some kind of a mechanic where I need to differentiate between multiple colors or something, then that's fine.
There's different colors of nectar as well.
That's true.
Different colored petals.
But yeah, the nectar and the petals kind of consistent across the UX here. There's text explaining to you this is a yellow petal, or this is a blue petal, or this is a red petal.
Cool.
So I think that they did think about that, Bill.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It seems like they're laying the groundwork for like future updates where it's like, hey, you should probably send blue Pikmin to go and do this, or hey, the pink Pikmin are probably good to go and get that flying thing over there. Yeah.
And this game, like, soft launched, barely any promotion from it, like from Nintendo about it at all. I think it was one of those like, here's a trailer at 6 p.m. Eastern kind of announcements. And it's very much so a soft launch. I think that they had some server issues the first week. I know all about that. Like it's gonna happen. But that it's not a game where they're pounding their chest saying. I think they did say that there've been a few million downloads of it, but like we
did a story on that. I think.
Yeah, it's. They're not talking about how many people are playing it every day. Like I don't think it's that big of a game right now, and that's why I do think like it's kind of an underdog in this category. Like Pokemon is this massive, very popular franchise with people who claim to like the game, even though they haven't played it for a few months, and none of them have played it on mobile. But the one person who did play it on mobile seems to like it on mobile.
I do.
So I think that's important, but the other 3 votes here are clearly full of shit. But I think we should probably vote unless anyone has like another mobile game here.
I really do feel like it's a difference in philosophy though. Like Pikmin Bloom sounds like a companion, and it sounds like a good companion. Pokemon Unite is a challenge, and that's kind of what I was looking for. And I don't know that it's going to appeal to everybody because I really love MOBAs, and I went into this game looking for exactly that, and it scratches that itch.
Greg, how many years ago did I talk about a Pokemon MOBA with you? We were like sitting in some hotel, you were playing that HOTS game, and I was like, don't you think like Pokemon would work in this? And like here we are. Like we finally got it.
Yeah.
But it's like It's like if Nintendo released a Pokemon Battle Royale next year. It's like, you're a little late, Nintendo. Like, I don't know, Donovan's all about the Pokemon Battle Royale. But, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, Nintendo and the Pokemon Company are largely, like, super slow to move. And this is, like, releasing a MOBA in 2021, it just feels kind of late. And it doesn't mean that it's not going to be a success. It seems like it already is. I think the free-to-play nature of it is important for that aspect, but, like, is this going to be an esport? Is this something that you could actually see competitive play in?
No.
Yeah, then it's hard to compare this to, like, when I think MOBAs, I think Dota 2 and I think League. And then as a joke, I think about HOTS. But, like,
and Smite.
I don't know where this is going to rank in that. And I think TJ's point about having issues with Riot Games and this being a good option is a valid point. But yeah, I wonder how much staying power this game really has. And I don't know. I find it hard to believe that this is the best experience for this game is on mobile. Like, I sincerely doubt that.
Well, and, like, it's got crossplay between mobile and Nintendo Switch, so it also has that going for it.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, as far as just, like, the whole esports experiences, it is operating out of the Chinese area, which is, like, the largest mobile scene in the world. So, like, you want to talk about, can this have an esports scene? Yes, easily to me, because there's a meta in it. It's got a clear and distinct challenge to it. It's got a ranking system to it, and there's high ceiling caps for skill in this game. I think that if they wanted to launch an esports scene, if some company in China wanted to launch an esports scene for this game, they absolutely could.
Mm-hmm. I mean, hell, I may just be thinking wrong, because PUBG Mobile is huge. Like, there's games on screen buttons.
They just released a new PUBG New State on mobile as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but, like, once again, you're not going to catch me playing a shooter game with on-screen buttons.
No.
But a lot of people do. So, like, clearly it's something that people are getting used to. And if TJ is able to play this game to the point where he's leveled up this much with those controls, it's not the worst user inputs that have existed on mobile. But it's one of those things for me personally. It's a non-starter.
Do you play it more on Switch or mobile?
I don't play on Switch. I play it entirely on mobile.
Oh wow! Okay. Oh wow! Okay, I did not realize
it's
that.
It's my dedicated toilet game.
Okay. I didn't even know that, but rock on, man.
Yeah. Shout out to Retro Bowl.
You just lost me, TJ.
Well, how long are these matches? God.
Oh, that's the other thing.
Yep.
That's the other thing that makes Pokemon Unite good. It's only 10-minute matches at most.
Yeah.
That's a really good aspect of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Not all.
TJ
If you vote for this, Greg, I'm gonna probably bash you in the head with a shovel. But
TJ, is this one of your 3 remaining hills?
No, it's not a hill. It's really.
TJ's made a very compelling case for this. This is.
I'm just trolling him. Like
the difficulty I face with, like, Pikmin is that it feels more like a glorified step counter, and I love it. I love playing it, but the gamification side of it is very simple.
I mean, I kind of feel like that's like saying Ring Fit is just an exercise machine. You know,
Ring Fit's way more detailed than Pikmin Bloom. Ring Fit has, like, a lot of different exercises built in.
I get it, but my point being is the fact that you are engaging physically in order to play the game shouldn't discredit it as far as being a game. That's my point.
I think its minimal nature is a selling point.
I agree.
I like that I don't have to do too much in this app. Yeah. I like that it's agree. Like, it's not intrusive. It's not making me do dailies or weeklies. It's just a game that exists, and I'm like, oh yeah, I did this. You don't even have to use the app, right, to play this game.
Yeah,
that's a
selling point to me.
As somebody who hasn't played either of them, my what TJ described sounds like work, and what Pikmin Bloom sounds like to me, honestly, it kind of gives me like, and just in vibe, it's like the vibe I like from Animal Crossing in that it's positive and it's not rushing me and it's kind of chill, and like the whole thing about asking me about how my day was just reminded me of like, a villager throwing me a birthday party. Like it just seems like a positive, not demanding. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm looking for in mobile. Is I don't want something that's work. I have enough of that in my games. I want something that is
the most Nintendo mobile app that they have shipped since Miitomo. I don't know if anyone remembers Miitomo, but that was just about making friends with people and visiting each other, and they would ask you questions. It was horribly monetized. It had died, like most Nintendo apps do. And I honestly, I'm not too optimistic that Pikmin Bloom is going to make it. And that's why I've been pushing it so hard. Like, I want people to try this out. I think it's, like, actually good.
It feels like a mobile version of Street Pass. Like, it's got that simplicity to it. Yeah. Because
that's like exactly what I'm getting at. Is that that same delight that you would get from, like...
Oh, who did I see? Who did I... Yeah.
I was at CES one year, and I street passed Reggie. He was in the hotel room next to me. I was, like, trying out the Wii U for the first time. Like, those moments, like, when I get a postcard, it's, like, delightful. There's nothing about that game where I'm ever frustrated or, like, sad. Like, and I'm not saying that, like, losing a game is a bad thing. Like, I don't give a shit about MOBAs in general. Like, it's not a style of game that I like playing. I like that Pikmin Bloom doesn't make me use the app to keep track of me. Like, it's very well integrated with Apple Health. So there's just elements of it. I don't know. Before Iwata died, he talked about this quality of life platform that they were working on at Nintendo. And I really do think that some of these things we're seeing, like Ring Fit, Pokemon Go to a certain extent, that jump rope game that they shipped last year, and Pikmin Bloom are those things where you're taking something. Sam, you're dead right. Step counters have existed forever. I have a step counter on my watch. You know how often I've looked at the Apple step counter? Never. Not once. But this Pikmin Bloom step counter is something that's actually engaging and interesting and encouraging. And I just think, just like last year, when I thought that the Pokemon brushing your teeth game was actually a good
Smile. Thing. I was literally just looking at that, yeah.
Just like last year, where I thought Pokemon Smile was a very novel, unique experience that encouraged health. I think Pikmin Bloom is kind of like that. And to a lesser extent, Pokemon Go is like that. But yeah, I've made my case. I think we should vote.
Yeah.
Well, in response to what Bill said about this game being work, like I play solely ranked. So in that way, it is like I'm always looking for that challenge. But the game also has like multiple different match modes, and one of those modes is CPU match, and it has different maps for it where the objectives are different as well. So like you don't have to play ranked in this game. You can play CPU matches. You can play alternative goal matches.
But at the end of the day, MOBAs feel like work to me. MOBAs always feel like work and grind. And to your point, TJ, this seems less grindy than most because of the 10-minute loop. Like that's a selling point to me.
Easy pick up and play, and then easy stop.
Greg, you've played 1,000 hours of HOTS. HOTS was a little more faster paced than League, right?
Oh, it's a little faster paced. It's better designed.
I think it was 20 minutes tedious. In that case, but
less tedious.
I agree, TJ, that 10 minutes is a very good number for that. But if you're taking dumps that last 10 minutes, man, you might want to eat more fibers.
I'm not trying to say work is a negative thing, and my definition of work in a video game is pretty low. Like, I play lots of games that are work. My point is not to say something bad about Pokemon. It's to say that when I have my phone on me, that's not where I want that work. Right? Like, that's when I'm up from my desk and I'm walking away. And if I also have that video game work mentality following me with my phone, I'm just I want something really, really chill that does not care at all.
I guess at the end of the day, it's like, what do you want out of your mobile
Yeah.
game experience?
It's just a personal thing.
And that's the dichotomy we're going to be.
Yeah, and this entire awards, all these awards are based on subjective opinions of our staff. So like, what we do here in each deliberation is make the case for a game, and then everyone can hear the people who are passionate about whatever game and form their own opinions based on what your personal opinions would be of a mobile game. I will say that Pikmin Bloom has made going to the grocery store more enjoyable for me. Like, I like tagging Walmart with flowers. I just love planting flowers. Like, if I have to go to the pharmacy at Walmart, I'm planting flowers. If I'm going to Office Depot, I'm planting flowers. Like, I think it's made regular everyday life more enjoyable. And that's not the case. Like, Unite is not, they're very different experiences. Like, Unite's definitely one of those, like, you put your head down, you can play a game for 10 minutes kind of games. And then, yeah, like I mentioned Sideswipe, like, that's a 2-minute at a time experience. That's like a handheld Rocket League game. I think it's worth mentioning because it just dropped last week, kind of out of nowhere. But yeah, I didn't nominate it because my issues with on-screen controls. And I would just, that's another thing. That's another reason why I have Pokemon Unite installed on my Switch. I would never play it on mobile, but that's just me. Then going back to that whole, it's about your own opinion. But let's vote. Unless there's any other challengers. Nope. Okay. David, you want to kick this off?
Yeah, I was going to ask you actually. I'm going to vote for Pikmin just because I think one thing I love about Nintendo, none of their games, at least their good ones, I think most of them are good, but none of them feel over designed. They feel catered to the platform. This is the sort of app. Osso's been telling me about it for a while. I've been interested. It's just kept slipping my mind to download it. I downloaded it during the deliberations as Bill did. This is an app I can see myself using. I do a lot of walking and listening to audiobooks. I can see myself heading out of the house, starting my Pikmin on something, listening to my book, and then when I get back, just seeing what they were up to. So I'll vote for Pikmin. I don't really like most mobile games, so this is the sort of app that is something I would actually use.
Yeah, and you go on walks a lot, David. So I thought that would be something that you would be interested in.
Yeah.
Okay, we got one for Pikmin. Denny, what you got?
Yeah, I'm leaning into Pikmin. I did try it out a little bit, and I'm like you, whereas, when it comes to, like, my mobile gaming, I don't necessarily need the conflict. Like, I like the idea of a more kind of positive approach. So it definitely kind of grew on me. I downloaded Pokemon Unite here, maybe like 2 days. Wasn't really my type of thing. But Pikmin, I could go back to Pikmin. So that one wins for me.
Yeah, and it's so low key. Like, it's not, even in Animal Crossing, when you don't play that for a while, your villagers, like, guilt you. They're like, oh, I haven't seen you in X amount of months. It's like, Pikmin doesn't do anything like that. Yeah.
This just has the vibe, the kind of the spirit under which Pikmin was created. Miyamoto just gardening, relaxing.
Yes. Yeah. And like I said before, this really has, I would say that Mario game that they shipped, Super Mario Run, had a lot of Miyamoto's fingerprints on it. I would say since then, this is the game where I'm like, wow, Miyamoto actually really worked on this. Like, this is not, he was sitting there in meetings with Niantic, really, really chatting about this. And I think that it shows, like, his touch, like, he's largely kind of moved away from game development, right? He's kind of a figurehead at the company now. But I think at times he is still very hands-on in the development of some of these things. He's hands-on in the movie development right now, but I think this is an app. If you watch the reveal trailer for it, he is there talking about the app and talking with the developers from Niantic. So I just think compared to, like, I don't know, Fire Emblem Heroes, which was like a Dina game, like, there's a lot of things going on at Nintendo Mobile where they're just kind of pushing it off on someone else. Like, here's our IP, go make a game. Mario Kart Tour is a good example of that last year. But yeah, Donovan.
Pikmin Bloom.
Oh, How about that? From our Pokemaster.
Yeah,
Greg.
I'll dial my Pokemon Hill later.
Yeah, there's plenty of hills for you to die.
Someone, I also, as someone who's plays the other two Niantic games, Harry Potter and Pokemon Go, yeah, I mean, I would assume Pikmin would be up there with the other two games, and also have made good points. So yeah, Pikmin.
Sweet, 4 for Pikmin. TJ?
Yeah,
Pokemon
I mean,
Unite?
I went looking for a mountain to climb, and I found it, and I'm happy with that challenge. I think you made an awesome case for Pikmin Bloom, and it sounds like something that the MOBA scene or the mobile scene needs. There, Pokemon Unite isn't the first MOBA, and it won't be the last one, but I still think it's a pretty dang good game and a pretty dang good use of that license. So I'll stand by it.
I think it's a very good game. Like I got nothing to say bad about the game. I just don't. I personally don't think I would want to play it on mobile. That's really it.
I hear you.
Bill.
One of the things that I've worked on in the last 6 months is truly disconnecting. Even if it's for a very short amount of time in a day, it could be like 45 minutes for dinner, whatever. And Pikmin doesn't appear to sort of like intrude on that. Like it's something that I can still disconnect, which is important to me when I walk away from the computer. Like I don't want to be connected to games. I don't want to be connected to work. I want to, and it is encouraging me in a positive way to walk, which is actually a huge thing for me physically. So pretty easy Pikmin vote for me.
Wait. Sam?
As much as I did enjoy my time with Pokemon Unite, I don't tend to play in-depth games on my mobile, and I am just thoroughly enjoying Pikmin Bloom. I think it's a charming thing that I love to check in each day just to see how it went and go like, yeah, I had a good day today, and I'm gonna have to vote for Pikmin Bloom.
Sweet. Blake, you nominated Pikmin Bloom.
Yeah.
I'm guessing you're voting for it.
Yeah, if I could, I would love it if the Pikmin in the future would sing Nirvana's "In Bloom" to me. I think that needs to come to the app at some point.
They have the money. They
I mean,
could
that
pay
might
for
just
that.
be a meme that we get Greg to make.
Yeah, Greg, can you just make a fucking Pikmin Bloom commercial, just using Nirvana's "In Bloom" as the music?
Yeah, I can do that.
I would be in on that. Surprise, surprise! I'm voting for Pikmin Bloom. Chris, do you got a vote?
Yeah, I'll defer to the experts here and also go with Pikmin.
Sweet. So it's 9-1. Pokemon Unite is a very good game, but Pikmin Bloom is the Modojo at Shacknews Mobile Game of the Year 2021.
TJ, you rebel.